So what do you guys do?
So we're part of the MSN search team, and we're specifically on the client side team. So we build the toolbar, the upcoming soon-to-be released desk bar, and a toolbar for Outlook, and also then MSN Desktop Search. So those are a bunch of components. Merrick is the dev on the desk bar, and he's been driving a lot of cool stuff there.
Oh, so you're the geek.
I am the geek, yes.
Are you marketing?
I'm actually a program manager. I'm the release program manager. So
yeah, don't worry, we're all in the same.
I thought I was going to get some marketing talkers.
He's good at it, right?
I sound like it. That's good. I sell things in my Steckler reviews. Yeah, registered trademark, Microsoft.
Yeah. So, desktop search.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So, well,
I've seen it, and I haven't played with it that much. I told you that when I walked in.
Yeah. So you don't dog food. Do people out there? Have you guys talked about dog food before? On the
a little bit. We've talked about it. Yeah, a little bit. Tell us about what dog fooding is.
So dog food is actually, I think, one of the coolest things that we get to do at Microsoft. It's like all the product teams are working on different things, and obviously part of that is you get iterative build before even a beta quality, and you get to distribute it to your coworkers, your peers, and get their feedback, get them to help you pound on it, find all these crazy, obscure bugs, as well as get great suggestions that help make it the best product at the last second. We've been pretty fortunate. Our dog food users have been incredibly helpful. They've been sending us stack traces, crash dumps. I mean, just giving us whirlwinds of feedback, giving us matrices of coverage across all these different configurations that we could have. We're like, oh man, people actually have that set up like that. You're mapping the keyboard this way and that way, and we're finding these great bugs that help us find things that real users are going to hit, as well as things you just can't ever get in a test lab.
Yeah.
So dog food, I think at Microsoft, I don't know where the term came from, but I think it's one of the coolest things that happens.
And I got an email that all the employees here, all 57,000, can try out your product. Is that true?
Yep, everyone can get into it.
That's a good set of beta testers, at least.
It's a great set of beta testers.
I know when I was a marketing director, I wish I had a beta tester pool that big.
I think like Merrick, it's funny watching like most of the team has joined the feedback alias, and so Merrick, I think, is actually probably one of the top posters. He goes out there and he's always tracking down, having these threads with everyone, and getting these great ideas for the next release, as well as making some tweaks for this release. We've done a bunch of little things in the desk bar and big things. I mean, just finding these fixes that just make the product, at the end of the day.
All right, give me the 2-minute pitch. You got 2 minutes with me. What's the coolest thing in desktop search?
Gosh, the coolest thing in desktop search. Well, so I think one of the coolest things is just being able to find anything fast. Right now, how long has it been that you don't know where you put anything on your hard drive? Yeah. You don't know if it lives in your email, if it's on your hard drive, if it's an attachment. You just remember you kind of saw it. So now, you throw in a couple words about what you were looking for, and boom, you get a result set that 9 times out of 10 has it there in the first view. And what's even cooler is because we did a rich client approach. We took advantage of the Windows platform. Is you can actually interact with the results. Do you want to pull up maybe the results?
Sure, yeah.
You can right-click on it and say, hey, you know what? Throw this in a media player. I want to start listening to it right now, or even a group of things in the media player.
Yeah.
You can.
So this is the new MSN search, right? This is actually desktop search.
This is the desktop search.
Okay, wait a second. How do I know it's desktop? It says search desktop.
Yeah, right. You can see up here, right now you can see that it says search desktop.
Yeah.
So this means that you're in the desktop search mode.
Oh wow, files.
If you click on one of these, it goes to the web search mode. So you can decide to search desktop, or you can click on one of the web modes and go to the web directly. And
see, this is why I didn't want to play with this before I interviewed you, because I wanted to come in fresh, just like a real user would come in.
So we definitely went to unify and kind of make, it's MSN search helping you find anything everywhere. Yeah. So, whether it's on the web, whether it's on your own computer, whether it's in your email, that's what the, goal of MSN search is. It's to help you find your stuff as quickly as you can, right?
Right.
So
since we are making the client themselves, we make the Toolbar Suite. You can see we've installed the Toolbar Suite directly onto your desktop.
And so you're going to be able to go to, do you know what the URL will be on the 13th of December?
Well, search.msn.com for the URL. For your actual local searches, you have the toolbar here.
How do I get it, in other words? How do I get that?
Oh, to get it.
toolbar.msn.com.
Ah, okay.
So we're going out as the Toolbar Suite, which includes the 3 toolbars I talked about, as well as MSN Desktop Search. And so it allows you to get to everything from any of the toolbars. You can search everywhere.
So will I get one download and I'll get all this?
You'll get one download and you get everything you see today.
It's free, of course.
It's free, of course.
Yeah.
Just do lots of web searches, because that's helps us.
Yeah. So what do you get? So I'm going to download this thing from toolbar.msn.com, and you said I get 3 separate pieces?
Correct.
Okay, so what are the
So-
3 pieces that I get?
The first one is the main one, which has been out for several months now, which is the MSN Toolbar. And you
Right.
can see it has access to a lot of your MSN features directly through it. We've actually added a lot of things like being able to see how much Hotmail you have and Messenger integration, things like that. Messenger isn't running right now, so I don't have that integration set up right now, but
Okay.
you can do that. There's the old things that we had like highlight viewer and pop-up blocker and things that we've always been doing for several months now. And then the biggest thing that we added now is that you can actually do search desktop or search the web. And it gives you a bunch of different choices here to actually decide which one you want to do.
Cool. Now, when it's searching your desktop, let's say I have 10,000 files, and
Mhm.
they're PowerPoints, they're photos, JPEGs, they're Word documents, and they're, what else would be, PDFs, and
Anything, text files, documents,
XML files.
XML.
and it searches the text in them, or
Correct.
how does it look inside the file so that it knows what it's seeing?
So there's this thing called the indexer, which is a program that runs on your machine. You can actually see it running right now. If you look at that tray on your Explorer taskbar,
Yeah.
you can see it's actually flashing. Well, it might have stopped now because
Because you moved your mouse.
So I moved my mouse, but
We
while-
back off. We try to be polite.
we try to be polite. But while you're not using your computer, this little tray thing will flash, and what it's doing is it's actually gathering information about your complete file base, all your
It's crawling all the
documents. Yeah, it basically goes through every one of your files and builds this thing called the index.
Right.
You
Now,
can- you can explain.
does this slow? Some of my friends say it slows down your machine.
So it definitely takes some resources off, but our goal is to be as polite as possible, back off. That's why when Merrick moved his mouse, you saw it stopped instantly. So we're trying, the balance there is you want to give freshness of the index, so as you get new emails, you create new documents, or you download new things from the web. We want to get those added to the index so you can find them as quickly as possible.
Right.
But then you also don't want to be impolite and take up system resources. So it's a balance, and we spend a lot of time on that, trying to get that right, to make sure that you nail that experience.
Now, how much? First of all, how big is the download on this? Do you know?
It's about 5 meg. Yeah, 4.5, 5 meg. So it's,
Okay.
it's
So a little bit bigger than some of our competitors, but a little bit, but in the range.
Yep.
It's not too big. How much RAM does it take up?
well.
It depends. So,
It depends.
well,
There's
so
not a clean answer.
That's a good. Well, what does it depend?
So a lot of it depends on how much RAM you have on your machine, how busy other programs are taking it up, how
What it's trying to index, right?
yeah how much you've indexed, how many searches you've done recently. We try to be really good about caching, about making sure that things that you've searched before you can get to really quickly the next time you do a search, rather than having to tax the index and calling into the hard drive every single time.
what's the out of download experience though? Right? We talk about out of box experience when you open up a new product, and what's the out of download experience for this product? In other words, do I have to wait an hour for it to index everything? Do I have to wait 8 hours? Tell me a little bit about how long I should wait to start really getting a sense of how good it is on my desktop.
So-
considering I have maybe 10 or 20,000 files.
Exactly. So initially we search your email and your My Documents, which are documents that are like on your desktop, that are in your My Documents folder, that are in your Start menu and things like that. So we don't take your entire hard drive right away by default. Actually, one moment.
Oh.
Let me just.
I'll take it from there, I guess.
All right, cool.
So, we start indexing and we give you a notification.
Sorry about that. That would be my.
Hey, you don't have a
interrupting.
skull phone yet either. What?
No.
What?
I got a smartphone.
Yeah.
I'm part of the coolness.
All right.
And I got, I don't know if I can talk about my cell phone service. I like my cell phone.
Yeah. What do you have?
I got the smart
The
flip.
is that that's the Samsung?
Yeah, it's the i600.
Ah, cool.
So, I got a missed call too. I missed that.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday. I guess people don't want to hang out. But so we start indexing, and we notify the user through a toast notification right away that we're indexing. And when we're done with it, we also notify them. In the search results, until we get the full index built the first time, it does notify you in the results view saying, hey, we're still building your index. We're letting the user know they're not going to find everything. But as soon as that first crawl of everything on the hard drive happens, we then hide that message, and now it's just we're in an incremental mode, or where we're looking for new things, or we're looking for notifications that say a new email's arrived, or a new file's been created on the file system. So there's that initial wait, but that's part of the game with desktop search. You got to get that in, and you start going. I mean, almost every one of our competitors has that if you've installed. So.
Yep. Now with photos, when I take a Nikon picture with my Nikon camera, it comes in with a name of DSC050.jpg, right? It doesn't tell you anything about whether I was at a wedding or whether I was at the beach or whether I was, here at Microsoft. It doesn't tell me anything about the photo. Your search engine can't magically solve that problem.
No, we can't magically solve the metadata problem that is there. But when we do have good metadata, we nail it. You can search for, when you're looking for music, we can search by artist, by any of the embedded titles or and tag information. Because what we're doing, you'd asked earlier about, how do we know what's in the document? We use something called an I filter. That basically goes through and it knows certain types of files. And anytime the indexer finds a file that it knows about, it says, hey, please crack this file using the I filter. It then reads it and basically outputs a text stream representing that file so that we know what to search on.
Right.
And that is then added into the index, which is then what you are searching against to get quick results. So instead of having to go open every file on the hard drive every time you search for something, which is what the default Windows search does, we have a file that sits around that says, hey, this is everything that we know about on the computer. Quickly reference this without having to go to every file. So that adds a lot of speed, and that's how we know about what to look for.
Right.
Do you want to do a search and show?
Yeah.
Sure.
So
I guess that's a good idea.
We should show word wheel.
Yeah, we can get to
We'll
that.
talk to that.
All right.
So this is in the main UI. One of the things, what would you like to look for? Let's see.
You got some music on here, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's see. I'll look for example, Nirvana, since everybody knows what that is. I believe I have some Nirvana music. I'll do a search for desktop.
That was fast.
Right away, you could see it
Really
took
fast.
maybe 1/10 of a second or so.
So down here, 0.291 seconds for the.
That's exactly how long it took. 1/3 of a second.
Wow. Is it going to be fast like that for every search?
Should be. I'm indexing my entire hard drive, so this is.
Now that sort of makes sense, right? For most of the major search engines, my search query is going out over the internet, going to a server farm, getting thrown into one of 100,000 machines, and then getting thrown back, which is amazing how fast it does happen. But
right.
This search is local, right?
This is
Everything's
all
local, where your hard drive is, 100 times faster than the internet.
Exactly.
More. And you're working off of RAM. How much stuff are you loading into a set?
A lot of your index is going to be stored on the hard drive, so a lot of it has to be loaded from the drive. But the whole beauty of relational databases and indexing, things like that, is that they create very impressive hashing of your different files and things like that. So when you do a search for Nirvana or whatever, it can look that stuff up through that hash incredibly fast, as you can see. So using that same technology that we use on the web, where we build these incredible huge indexes of all these millions and millions, billions of documents, we can do something similar on a much smaller scale on your local hard drive.
Keep showing it to me, sorry.
So for example, I found the music here, and for example, so I found a bunch of
and you're just scrolling through these.
A bunch of music, and you can see, for example, I found that maybe all of my Nirvana music is in a folder. So, for example, this folder is Nevermind, which is one of the Nirvana albums. If I right-click on it, as you can see, it pops up the full Windows Explorer context menu.
Yeah.
Including Winamp and things like that. So what I can actually do is I can either play it, since it's a folder and Winamp recognizes I can type play in Winamp. It'll actually load it and play the entire album inside Winamp, which I think is kind of neat.
Yeah.
So we get all the shell, it's like you never leave Windows, in the sense so that you have the full access to use the files. If you want to print something, you can right-click and print on it. If you want to play it in the media player, if you want to send it via email, you've got everything that's there that you're used to using every day, whether you're surfing through a folder. Right now you use Explorer and you're kind of searching for things if you go into My Documents. Now if you get search results and it's like, boom, you just find them and you can interact with them right away. Right. Individually or a group, and that just can continue to get better and better as you're wanting to interact with things. It's really powerful.
That's really neat.
So you think that's that's pretty cool because you're doing it almost instantaneously, and you have this whole UI and view. I personally wrote.
When I go back to one of those, do another
Sure.
search or something.
Sure. What do you need?
Nirvana is fine, or whatever.
Let's try something else like Office. Let's see what happens when I search for Office.
And right-click on one of those files.
This is actually an email file. You want a
Yeah,
regular
on a
file?
regular file,
Sure.
because I saw a whole bunch of SD extensions. We're
So
looking for.
SD is an actual development thing. So
Okay.
these extensions are pulled from all your applications can actually load up these extensions and put them in your context menu. So that whenever you right-click on a file, it can load up things. SD is in particular some software development stuff. So
Got it. Okay.
So that's
I
what
thought
that
it was
was.
part of the desktop search. Okay.
Right. No. None of this
Okay.
stuff is actually by us. So you can see like WinZip has something here, so you can zip files. So if you're running WinZip, so all that special extensions that you use with Explorer are built into our software.
Got it. Okay.
Pick them up.
So what's also neat, we actually support drag and drop, so you can copy a file
Do that
off of
again.
the search results, like that. Actually,
Oh, you're replacing it.
asking to replace it. So
You can do it for email too, which is cool.
yeah, you can even drag and drop emails. So it
Whoa.
actually
Okay.
copies that index mail for you. So if you find something that you see is relevant for you, you can save it on your desktop or wherever you want.
Or drag and drop it to an email and attach it. Boom.
Yeah.
How about dragging it to the spaces?
Drag it to upload to spaces. I think we got a V2 request right there.
You can see where I was going on that.
I think MC will like that.
Yeah.
So-
Hold on just a second. I gotta switch batteries.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it's just kind of calling.
So we're back after our battery change. Sorry about that. So where were we? You were showing us. What were you showing us?
So just drag and drop, search results, things like that.
Right.
Oh, does it do it just on a high? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know it.
Refreshes the config. Yeah.
Huh.
It's weird.
Oh,
Well, refreshes the loading of the red.
Is that the fix you said you wanted to do a fix for the button stuff around? I guess that doesn't matter. You can do that no matter what. So you do that with the reg key.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reloads the reg key on.
Sorry, we're geeking out.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, one of the things, we did with a lot of the app is a lot of things are controlled by the reg keys. So you can control, kind of tweak some of the back off things. And Merrick built in a kind of cool thing because we've had this ongoing discussion around how much space is right for a desk bar. Because it's always there, it's always sitting there, and we've had.
This is the desk bar right here. I don't know if this is one of the little toolbar enhancements that.
Now, are
we
you a
have.
Mac user?
No.
We're in the Silicon Valley campus, which is where all the Mac guys are.
Okay, so-
I think they've influenced your brain because you put the thing at the top of the screen
The
here.
reason it's actually up there is we had a bug where something wouldn't draw right when it was up top. Someone uses it that way. So one of the feedbacks was that it wasn't working right. So I was
Oh, that's
trying to
good.
get.
That's a good point because if
Trying to
Microsoft employees, well, if anybody, with Windows, you can use things in so many different configurations.
Yeah, I mean we have people that will
Put them on the side.
that'll put them on the side like this.
Yeah, we got a ton of feedback around how the buttons were laying out on the side at first.
So as you can see, we still have to render on the side. So even if you draw it that way and things, it still has to work. So I'll put it back down bottom because this is what most people will be seeing it as.
I was I'm sensitive because I was a former Mac guy and I had everything at the top. Make me feel good.
Yeah, it's home.
So let's just see. So here are the actual extensions that we load up are was the IE toolbar, and I'm trying to load the Office one right now. So the IE toolbar, as you can see, is the MSN toolbar that we have here that we've had.
We got a blue jelly bean now too.
Oh.
Kind of ties it all back into this.
How many arguments did you guys have on the blue?
Yeah, it was a lot.
It's pretty funny.
I don't even want to know.
The jelly bean definitely was like.
Apparently, if it's not a jelly bean, people don't know to click on it, and if it's a jelly bean, then people will know how to click on it.
Yep.
So it's complicated. Let me.
The things you learn in user testing.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, and we also found it's interesting that having a go button is one of the biggest things. Having a definitive button to hit really helps users understand and grok searching. After they type something in, even though most people, or at least power users, just kind of hit enter and go. Having a button that they can press, we found out was super important.
Exactly.
So.
And did you learn that? Because we're on Channel 9, we had a user testing lab video of how we do user testing. Did you learn that in the user testing?
Yeah, we in the usability labs, it was one of the things we went through and put some things through early paces, and we had a bunch of different mock-ups around, because we wanted to keep space at a premium. or we knew space was at a premium, how we could kind of condense things and what buttons we could hop out. And that was actually one of the things that we went back around a lot on, and we eventually settled down into always having a go button as kind of the default rule. And we're gonna, it seems to be the right call for a lot of things, even though it does take a little more space, which is what Merrick also did add in the change around, so you could hide it for our power users.
So you guys really argue about taking any pixels on the screen, because that's real important, is to keep your screen uncluttered.
Exactly. The important thing, and this is actually very important, is for users, especially in the taskbar, which actually is taken up by a lot of different things. You have your tray, you have your tasks, and you sometimes have a quick launch and things like that. And so the more room that's taken up there, then the less people can actually work pretty well. So
yeah.
So we're adding something new, but we think it's powerful enough that users will want to keep it there. But so one of the features that we added, because people were complaining. What did you just do there? I just ran registry.
Oh yeah, you can tell them about commands.
Oh, I'll show them about that. So I'll just show you really quickly. This is for power users, so don't worry about it too much. But you add a registry key, and then you turn our thing off, and you turn it back on. Yeah. And all it is now an edit box. You have nothing else.
Wow. So there's a lot of little registry hacks for
Exactly. So
there's going to be a big, thick book written by Ed Bott or somebody.
There will be online documentation, let's put it that way. Maybe a book later.
Yeah.
The book on MSN Search
Exactly.
registry hacks is coming, yeah.
Yeah, we got the MSN Search blog too that we can hit up. We've already been posting things there.
Okay.
Like when we got leaked, we even were just straight up in front and said, "Hey, we got leaked. We're pretty bummed about this, but this is the we're not going to hide from it. People are going to find the information." So the Search blog will probably have stuff on it. Then we also, it's kind of cool, we can publish things to our FAQ help documents in 12 hours or less, so we can get information out there as people are like, "Oh, we hit this," or "We want this." So,
are you guys going to have your own blog to help teach people what's cool about the tool?
Well, so
and also to get feedback from people?
Yeah, I think we talked about this, depending on, right now we're planning on using the main Search blog, so it's one big blog, but if there's a lot of stuff that we want to do out there and get more information, we might have our own toolbar/desktop search blog.
Well, it'll be people writing on this Channel 9 video too, so they'll see that come up and
we'll have even more points of contact.
There's plenty of stuff to show off that's not really intuitive, or well, not necessarily not intuitive, but kind of hard to get to.
Yeah. Below the layers, you got layers. The app's got layers. It's
so
like
we have our own little secrets to unfold for people to try
it took me, when I was testing Windows 95, it took me a long time to figure out there was a right mouse button. I was a Mac guy, shoot me.
Although we do have an internal blog where we post a bunch of random stuff too about oh, we hit this or we did this. So
you just should make that public, man. Just take it.
Just put it out there.
Just put it out there. I know it's embarrassing to see all the dirty laundry, but
there's no dirty laundry in software development.
No? Yeah, right. So I noticed you pull up Outlook here.
So getting back to things.
A lot of my coworkers are telling me your Outlook integration is pretty interesting.
Right. So one of the actual toolbars that we created was we call the Office bar, or the Outlook toolbar.
MSN toolbar for Outlook.
That's not what it's called, the MSN toolbar for Outlook.
I'm going to need a higher res monitor because you added more stuff to Outlook.
Definitely. So a lot of people from who use Lookout.
You should see my Outlook. I have like toolbar after toolbar.
You can stack them all up, right?
Oh yeah.
So we added our own, which is a great entry point to our desktop search, which works very similar to to our other entry points.
All right, we want to see if you have any email from Bill Gates here.
Bill Gates. Let's see, what do I have on Bill Gates? Roller skating.
You're going roller skating with Bill Gates? That would actually be a pretty cool story if you were.
Roadmap with goats.
Q3.
There's probably some confidential email there.
Oh wait, no, I did get an email from Bill Gates on security.
All right.
It wasn't directly to me, but apparently there's some security efforts that we're all working on together.
Excellent.
So as you can see directly, even within split second, we pull up a lot of your Outlook results, and this actually filters directly for Outlook results when you type in the Outlook the toolbar in Outlook.
Right.
And then you can specify to search your entire desktop, and you can also search the web directly from Outlook if you need to.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things we try to do from the entry points is be intelligent about what what we know about the user when they're trying to start a search. So, from the desk bar, we allow you to kind of get to everything quickly. And one of the cooler things that I hope we get some time to show you, we will get some time to show you,
is
is
27 minutes left.
is this thing called word wheeling, or I think the marketing lingo is search as you type. But that's gets you to allow you to see the results too as quickly as possible. I mean, one of the big things around search is, it's just a new way of navigating. It's not even a new way; it's an old way of navigating. But now it's coming to the point where it's quick enough to actually be useful.
Okay.
Okay, so as you can see, the desk bar is actually really simple. There's only 2 buttons and an edit box in the middle, which gives you a little tooltip that tells you what to do. When you click on one of the buttons, you have quick access to a lot of the MSN portals. We did that for convenience. You get really quick jump there. You get to tell a friend about the Toolbar Suite. Click here, and you send a link and everything directly to them. You have search history that you can clear, and then various options.
Okay.
And help.
Cool.
Now the fun part is the actual desk bar. When you click inside the desk bar, it pulls up this UI, which we call word wheeling UI. There's 2 actually different modes that this can be in. Down at the bottom, there's 2 buttons that actually swap between the modes. One is desktop and one is web.
Right.
When you switch to the mode, in the web mode, you search for web stuff.
Yeah. It's search dictionary, search encyclopedia,
Exactly. So you get images. So anything you type will go directly, and then you can click on one of these, and it will search through there.
Or by default, we'll search just against the web.
And we'll
search engine.
Exactly. But most of the people, or a lot of people, are going to probably be using the desktop mode because it's on your desk bar and things like that. So one of the greatest things is, because of the speed of the engine indexer, we can actually index in real time. So for example,
Show results in real time.
Show results in real time. So one of the most powerful things that we have is, for example, you want to run Word. If you type Word, as you can see, in seconds it pulls up a bunch of things with Word in them. At the top we list programs. So for example, at the top, most obvious is going to be Office Word, WordPad, and things like that. Then we show your mail. We group by media files, other files, and all other items.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you type Word, and I can use the keyboard, hit the down arrow, and I can hit Enter on Word, and it'll actually launch Word.
So no more going through 18 levels of the program menu.
Wow.
You can just boom, or start menu, and start all programs, and then going down there, so.
Yeah, Outlook is even easier. You type OU, and the top thing will be Microsoft Outlook. Type OU, hit down arrow, launches Outlook. So as you type each letter, it's actually doing a new search. You can see as I type new things, you can see it's coming up with new items, shortcuts. Let's see, shortcuts. I have some email with shortcuts in the subject and things like that. And it does intelligent searches, so it looks for things more preferential in the title and things like that. And similar to the main results UI, you can right-click on them and get the full context menu to copy files, to run Windows.
So you have a full Explorer in that one.
Kind of, yeah. It's not really Explorer, it's our own little thing, but it actually integrates. So I can open mail, I can print mail directly from the reply to all, and I'll actually send a reply to all to that actual email.
That's wicked.
Right from that UI. So as you're typing, and the greatest thing is, since you may not know exactly what you're looking for, but I might be looking for my friend, for example, Tim Hansen. I'll type Tim, start typing Tim Hans, and you can see his top thing is the contact. I can click on him and it'll open his little contact file, and I can get
Which has no info.
He's that good a friend. So, but you can open up contacts and things like that. So the power of this thing is really not only that we can find stuff really quickly that you know about, but we can also whittle down to this word wheeling UI and get more and more detail as you type more and more of what you're looking for.
Can you find network resources?
Well, no, we don't
like servers, because here at Microsoft we have hundreds of thousands of servers.
Right.
And finding,
so
the server that you're running on your desk sometimes is a little bit tough. You have to go back to an email where you sent it.
Right. Yeah. So we don't index directly local network resources. There's ways to do it.
So one of the cool things you can do is you can add a UNC path if you know where it is, and we'll actually go ahead and pick that up if you go into our options and index that.
Right.
But as far as magically knowing every computer out there on the internet, that's definitely not V1 beta stuff. But that's something that in the future we want to look at figuring out how do you search across multiple machines, both known and not known, so that you can find them.
Does it pull stuff in from your history as well? For instance,
From your web history?
Yeah, for instance, here there's so many SharePoint sites, and I visit, SharePoints. Is there any way to tell it to search the Longhorn SharePoint here that's been updated since the last time I visited?
Yeah, so it's interesting because one of the first things we did was in the
I'm
original.
asking for future asks here.
And all of a sudden, we're not shipping because Robert wanted a couple features. We just, we wanted to make sure that we got them in there for him. No, but for the, we originally actually had indexing of your web cache. So when you went through and surfed a page on the internet or in internet, it would also get surfaced up in the results. But we actually took that down based on a bunch of, internal feedback and looking at how it worked because it added a lot of noise to the results. It wasn't always showing, things that are relevant.
And it brought some privacy concerns.
And there was, obviously there's the, the privacy. And
my wife is searching, for a certain word, and then it comes up on my adult sites that I visited.
But not on the Microsoft intranet.
No, but I'm talking about at home. Who is this? What is this? I didn't visit that site. That must have been somebody else.
So darn kids.
Darn kids. We don't have any. I don't have anybody to blame. So with some of the competitor products, we saw some of these concerns where it was pulling up passwords out of the cache, and
so indexing private email.
So how do you guys how do you guys handle that? Do you not look at the cache then? Or?
So we don't index the cache or surface those results, and we're not also. One of the things that other people have done is actually go and index, or as you go to every web page, create their own version of those web pages that they download in their own private area. We don't do that. We're going just straightforward. We're allowing you to search, your, again, as Merrick said, out of the box, we're doing My Documents, which includes pretty much the default set of what you're going for, as well as your default email store, in most cases, Outlook.
Okay. What else do I need to know about this thing?
Do you want to show them aliases?
So let's show you some more interesting things. These are specific to Deskbar. These are actually very useful because, a lot of the times you're using Deskbar to launch applications and things like that. One of the features we're adding is, first of all, you can actually go to any web page, typing in http www.msn.com, and it'll actually launch the web page instead of the search. So you can actually use it as a mini IE address bar.
Right.
It actually knows www. You can see actually one of our features, Form Fill Wizard.
So one of the things we got a lot of requests for in the first toolbar was, adding a form fill, making it easy to add in, addresses, credit card information, as well as usernames and passwords. So one of the things we did is in this new version, we actually have a pretty cool form fill that allows you to store, addresses and credit cards, but also sign-in information. So, as you keep going through the web, you get more and more sites that need to log in. Now you can have just a simple, easy way to do that through the toolbar. And so that's part of the whole goal of making browsing better. We have the pop-up blocker and the highlight viewer to help you, interact with the web better. And as we continue to go forward, there's lots of cool things that we can start doing in that area to make browsing more fun.
Here's a question. If I search on Adam Curry, I have a Outlook contact for Adam Curry, and I also visit his webpage quite often. Would it pull up both? Or could it pull up both?
Well, so we don't go through the history as we talked about earlier. So it'll pull up as the stuff that's local on your emails. Now, if you have an indexed favorite, if you set your favorite to Adam Curry, we'll actually pull up the favorites.
Definitely.
So you can quickly get to it. Again, that whole concept of quickly getting to things through the different entry points.
Okay.
I believe one of my favorites is MSN.com. Let's see if I have that still there. They're listed under msn.com.url. As you can see, it's highlighted.
Okay.
If I hit enter, it'll actually go to msn.com since that's my favorite.
Oh, you're such a company guy.
Well,
I expected you to have Sun Microsystems or something.
Sun or AOL, no.
Gotta be nice to them. They're our friends.
Exactly. But anyway, let's keep going. One of the other things that we have here is you want to traditionally you'll type in something like food, and you would hit enter, and it does a local search. What you can also do is commands. If you put in equals before any search, it'll actually run the command as if you typed it in your start run box. So like CMD, many people run CMD to get a command prompt. You can type
calc,
equals
my
CMD
all-time favorite.
or equals calc. So anytime you type equals, it'll launch the application. Equals WinWord launches Word.
It's kind of like we're
Can you
like
do just
Excel.
equals word?
Uh,
You have to type WinWord.
Well, WinWord is the actual application name, so it requires that to launch it. But it's
Equals
basically
Excel, pull up Excel.
exactly
and-
Excel, all that stuff.
How about like Acrobat or
All
Photoshop?
they're all there. If you
Awesome.
don't know the name of it to launch it, do a search. I type Acrobat, and probably if I have it installed,
Yep, it is.
one of the top things is going to be Acrobat.
Yeah.
And I hit it, and it loads up everything I need to, Reader, whatever. So anything that you don't know the exact command for, you can actually do a search for and then launch it directly from there. So both ways it's fast. So you can get to files. You can actually type. I can type C:\/ and it launches and automatically launches Explorer with C:\/ So it recognizes all the default launching commands. So it's actually a really good launching tool. Replaces your start run, replaces your IE address bar, and things like that directly. Now, one of the coolest things that I think we added for this release is shortcuts. Shortcuts are basically a way to launch something with basically very little text. Let me give you an example. So for example, we said equals WinWord was used to launch Word, right?
Yep.
What if I just want to launch Word with W? Easiest thing to do is I type @ which starts the shortcut UI. You can see it puts up shortcut help a little bit higher up. A bunch of different little ways to how to add shortcuts and things like that. So @ brings up the shortcut mode. Then you type W, which is a shortcut name that you want to make, comma, and then the command. So I'll type W, comma, equals WinWord. When I hit enter, that creates a shortcut for WinWord, for W. So now when I type W, not only does it do a search for everything starting with W, but you can see it also adds W in your shortcut list to launch WinWord. And I type W, enter, and it'll actually launch Word from W. So this works for anything that you do inside the desk bar. So if you want to do, launch MSN like we were doing, you can.
What are spaces?
Sure, we can add spaces. So I do @spaces, comma, spaces, actually http spaces.msn.com.
Yep.
That adds a shortcut to spaces. Now I type spaces. You can see my desk bar shortcuts. One of those is spaces, so you know that it's going to launch that. And then you go, and it'll launch spaces.msn.com.
Wow.
And you can do any
So you
kind
can
of short.
put, instead of visiting some URL with a long
Exactly.
domain name, you can just replace it with a
Make it
shorter.
super quick.
So instead of going /.org, you can just go
Exactly.
do,
Do it /.
Yeah.
So now, and then finally, you get a little slightly more advanced. You also kind of want to, we are a search service, so often you'll want to search websites. One of those is MSDN,
Why would you want to do that?
for example.
I think this web thing is a fad.
Exactly. So you go to a web page, say for example MSDN, and it has a search box.
Yeah.
So you start typing a search
yeah,
box,
sorry.
and I want to search for, whatever, test.
Right.
Very simple. With shortcuts, we can also take the URL and make a shortcut out of a search URL. What you do is you take the URL, and anywhere that you want to actually make your query term, that you know it's a query term, you replace it with a little tag called, it's a parameter, $W, which says this is a query term, web term. Then you take that whole URL, as you can see it's ugly, long, you just paste the whole thing
Barely
in.
even fits on a screen.
Yeah, exactly. And then you add a shortcut. So I want to add a shortcut to MSDN, and at MSDN, comma, and then I just paste that back in with that special $W replacing my query term. And that adds a shortcut to MSDN. Now, all I type is MSDN, food,
Yep.
and hit enter, and now it does an MSDN search for food, right there. And you can do that for any of your sites, Amazon, Yahoo, other competitors.
Google. To say it.
That you may want to do. So I love Google Groups. They do.
So
great-
is there a
great Usenet
developer
stuff.
store here? Can developers or can enthusiasts put together some searches and email those around or put those up on the webpage
Yep.
so that they can be added in?
So these are stored. We wanted to make them really easy to get to. So we put them in your current users. So for example, my user application data folder, and there's an ini file. That's all it is just a file. And if you open that any file, it shows these are all my little searches that I have right now, all my shortcuts. And you can take this file and copy it to people, and they can append to it, add their own, put in new ones, however they want to do it, and they'll work like that. It's pretty simple. And so, combine the searching with the commands, with the little shortcuts, and now you can do everything in 1 or 2 character strokes. As a developer and as just a general user, it's really awesome to be able to just type, I'm looking for that specific Windows API call, or looking for that specific thing on item on Amazon. Instead of launching Amazon, finding the little edit box, typing it in there, it's really easy to just put it in, type, I have it like AMZ or something like that, and then it does the query for you.
Is there an API for application developers to use the Google? I'm sorry.
Freudian slip.
MSN search in their own apps. In other words, can I ship this with my app and then use it in some way inside my app?
Well, not right now.
Okay.
There is. We're definitely looking at plans, especially for a lot of Microsoft internal development partners, to extend that capability, and we're working there. First release, we're trying to get it working in a nice way, stable, and getting it to be useful enough that people really like to use it.
How about stats? Are you keeping track of any of my stats that I search? Because I do hundreds of searches every week, and it would be interesting to see which things I searched a lot.
We had one of these features on our lists for the release that we can make, which was actually a stat system. We do track some of your, how you're searching, things like that. And we were thinking of publishing that. We do have it. We don't publish it right now to the user, and I think that's one of the things that one of our PMs is trying to drive towards again.
Now, for users who have feedback like this, like they want features, where should they go when they get your product?
Well,
There's a feedback link in everywhere.
yeah.
And the help.
Today we have under help, there's a send feedback link.
Okay.
In pretty much every one of our toolbars has a little options, has a little button, and then that goes to help, and then you can do send feedback, and that should open up a little feedback site,
Great.
and you can.
So you guys are looking forward to the ideas like this, where hey,
Oh, definitely.
this is really cool, but can it do this? And
Exactly.
Figure out how to do that.
We've seen so many of these ideas, and we would love to put them in. As a developer, it's really difficult to resist because some of those are amazing ideas.
There's only so many weekends you can work.
But yeah, there's only so many hours in a day, so many weekends, and then the PMs and QA start slapping you down when you're getting close to ship date.
Sorry.
So
I'm the guy that's always going like, all right, we can't add anything more now. We got to get this out.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Shipping is a feature.
Yeah.
So well, we're going to be working hard on this even after release, and we're going to be pulling out releases pretty often. We have the auto update system and everything like that.
Tell me about that. How do I get this? Let's say there's a problem that you find 2 weeks from now.
Bubba can explain it pretty.
Yeah.
So what happens is, we have the ability to notify users if there's a critical upgrade, or if there's just, we got brand new cool features, and it's always opt-in. You just gonna get a notification saying, hey, there's a new version available. Click here to learn what's in it. It basically comes up as a little toast. So if you've ever used Messenger, you kind of might be familiar with that.
Yeah.
Then you can find out exactly what's in the release. There's a little, what we post on the website, and then you can choose just to download it and install it right there.
Right.
And so that way you get the latest and greatest things, as well as are always up to date from a security point of view and from critical fixes, as we find issues.
Now, a lot of us use many different desktop searches
Mhm.
because there's not just one. There's like 7 or 8.
Yeah, there's a lot out there now.
Do you test with your competitors to make sure that you don't hose them? And
Yep.
Definitely. I don't have them installed on these machines, but on a lot of my other machines, I've been running, X1, Copernic, Google, all of them, and we definitely not only it's good to understand how the competitor works, but we also make sure that we're not interacting, breaking with them. Obviously, all of these work on a similar engine with indexing and things like that. If you're installing like 4, 5, 6 different, applications that all have to index, eventually they're going to start
Stepping a little
Hey,
bit.
just, don't we all have it, the HP Superdome?
Exactly.
Right now, on Tuesday, we're going to show the HP Superdome that the SQL Server team has. They have 2,500 hard drives and
Right.
64 processors.
Well, yeah.
You need something to load on that to keep it busy. You know?
You want to make sure that you're giving it a challenge. I mean, what are you going to do with Moore's law?
Yeah.
Put it to the test.
Yeah.
Up to a point, 3D screensavers just don't cut it anymore.
Yeah.
Start doing some real damage. But we interact pretty nicely. I think we're one of the most secure solutions out there. We make sure that we obey all user privileges. We don't require you to be an administrator to run.
That's another question. Can you run on a machine that's not running in administrator mode?
So on our latest dog food, you can run as a non-administrator. Everything works.
To install it, you have to go in.
To install, you have to be an admin, and to update, you have to be an admin.
Because to install admin, you have to be write access to the program files directory. So.
Right. And that's typical for every application. But once you're running it, indexing, everything is running as a local user. All the file permissions in NTFS, all your Outlook store permissions, everything is obeyed. So there's little chance that some random person's going to get on your machine and be able to get to your indexed stuff.
I'm going to ask you a weird question.
Mm-hmm.
Why shouldn't I love this?
I don't know. Honestly, recent builds have been so smooth and so nice that I have it running on every single one of my machines. With things like shortcuts and word wheeling, there's no way I can use my computer without it. You can see my desktop.
Yeah.
Do you see any files on my desktop?
Nope.
I don't need it. I don't need any files on my desktop because everything that I need, that I can save anywhere on my hard drive. With notifications and the crawler and everything, it comes up almost instantaneously. I can go to the word wheel, look at the file, hit enter, and it launches it.
Okay.
So
that's an interesting question. You said hard drive. Does it index anything that's on a network drive or on another machine?
if you want to, part of the indexing options, if you go to actually indexing options from the tray, you can do all your little indexing stuff, like snooze it. If it's bugging you for some reason, using up too many resources, you can just snooze it for some time. You can snooze it 15 minutes, you can snooze it for a day. However, yeah.
Oh, let's just be honest. When you're playing Half-Life 2, snooze it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or watching a DVD.
Yeah.
Although we do back off on battery really well, so you shouldn't have to, we detect that you have a battery, you're running your laptop on battery, and we pull back and don't try to use up your resources. So, and David Dawson and his gang up north, when you get up there, are the super experts. They'll dive into a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
So
very
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, and they'll explain this a little better, but you can actually specify in the options specific locations like network resources. So
you can go to Bubba M1 if you want. Add it.
Bubba
M1 whack Dropbox. I think you should have read access to that.
So I can add. Yeah.
Say add. Oh.
Uh-oh.
No.
Dropbox. So yeah, let me add that.
Bubba M1.
So now I add this little
Bam.
network resource, and now it's going to start indexing that. So yeah, you can index things anywhere on the network as long as you specify them.
Cool.
We don't want them to randomly.
I noticed you had a rebuild index there. Does the index ever get corrupted for some reason?
We added this because during our dog food times, there were times where we required the user to delete their index or rebuild it. We added it as a last resort, mostly for customer support, in case someone really has trouble.
Yeah, or if you do a big thing, like let's say you get rid of a huge hard drive, like you have a second drive and you don't want, that you've indexed, you're like, oh, I want to clean out the index and, I've removed that or it's gone bad or whatever, so you can just rebuild your index from scratch. It's a lengthy operation. In fact, I think our dialogue, even before you allowed to do it, says this is a lengthy operation, but it'll help us, it lets you rebuild your index so that it has the most current information, and we wanted to give the user the ability to override and not just do an incremental, but,
This is really great stuff, guys. I'm pretty shocked. I'm speechless.
Does it mean you're going to install our dog food?
Oh, I'm going to install it. I got to hook up to the network now. I got my laptop here. Actually, my tablet PC. Yeah.
So
Now
that's another question. Do you support any inking?
So not in V1 we don't support the ink, but
got another re-education tour for you. When you're up in Seattle, I got 2 meetings for you.
Man,
just kidding.
Seattle meetings. David, you've got some meetings to go to, buddy.
So. Got to get with the program here.
No, it's actually it's pretty crazy because we came together. This team we're distributed across a bunch of areas. We have members up in Redmond. We have members down here in the SVC campus. We also have test resources, in India. And so it's cool to see how everything comes together. You have kind of like emails come. We were joking about it. It seems like some people are late to bed and and late to rise. Other people are early to bed, early to rise. But it seems like there's just always activity going around. And as you watch a product come together, it's never exactly what you think of how it's going to start. When you start, you're like, oh, I don't know how this is going to come together. And you start getting towards the end, you're like, wow, we got this product that works. We've gotten all this new stuff into it. We've learned these crazy lessons, found these insane bugs. Some of them, and just,
how long have you guys been working together?
Hasn't been that long, right?
Yeah.
I joined the team in April, and
Was it April 9th?
yeah,
Oh, nice.
and it seems like a lot longer, but
Wow. And you built this kind of quality tool in that short period?
yeah, well, we didn't even start the desktop search, the main product, this product, until probably summer, May or June, or even July.
But one of the things we did benefit from is there's been a lot of experience within Microsoft on building
Definitely.
desktop search, and so we were able to pull together a team that has the resources across. That took the expertise from MSR, Microsoft Research, took it from the different product groups that have been working on indexing and put this together.
Yeah, I mean,
and then
we've been working with Windows team, with the Longhorn team, with the IE team, Office team. All of those teams have actually been really, really helpful in providing us with various APIs and technologies and things like that. Public stuff, but stuff that really helps make our stuff really fast and really powerful.
Tell me how the team works together, since you guys, we're 1,000 miles away from Redmond, right?
678 miles.
So you have a frequent, I bet you have one of those Alaska Airlines
The Alaska
MVP
Airlines,
gold
yeah.
cards,
I don't have the gold yet, but I know
Yeah.
at least half a dozen people on our team probably do.
There's a lot of travel.
Yeah, there's a lot of travel, a lot of conference calls and making sure clear communication. IM, cell phones. Everyone, we have the list posted. So it's interesting working on a geographically separated team. VTC comes into place too. So you're always trying to pile everything together to make it work.
Yeah. What's VTC?
Video teleconference. So
Okay. Yeah.
allows you to kind of, so like for instance, every Monday night we meet with our India test team.
Wow.
over video teleconference. We stay a little late. They come in early that morning, and we're able to kind of hash through things, and you get a new level of communication. We do that for all important meetings up there.
And you guys use SharePoint servers?
SharePoint,
and
and obviously
you have a blog you said internally.
internal blog we set up.
Because that's one of the first internal blogs I've heard of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's not that many, actually.
Blogs, HTTP blogs. It seems like there's.
Yeah, there's 100, I guess, but I mean, not too many teams that are using it. So
Ours is MSN DS.
this is the first time internal blogs. We won't show too much of the content because a lot of the content there is a little bit secret. But
Yeah, here's our little blog for our desktop search.
So we've been a little busy, so I haven't gotten an update in a week.
Yeah, but we've
Yeah.
been putting in some interesting stuff, little hints and secret tips and things like that.
right.
There's a lot of great stuff, things like advanced query syntax that they'll probably show you up there that we don't have time to show, but just to do more detailed searches and things like that.
Yeah.
All that stuff is really impressive once you actually get down and use
No, this is really great.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking an hour with me.
No, thanks for
problem.
taking some time hanging out while you're down
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, this is a Saturday, I mean,
Seriously. When you came here, it was light. Now it's dark.
Yeah.
Hard at work for your dog food.
Yeah. Well, thanks, and good luck with the launch, and we'll air this video probably as soon as the launch happens.
Thank you, Robert.
Just a little bit.